this type of injury, like you don't know when I wake up, I'll feel, different than the day before. And
this is the first time we heard from Caitlin since the team announced on Memorial Day she was dealing with a left quad strain. She would be out for at least 2 weeks.
We were told that Clark was not seen in the open portion of practice by reporters who are on the ground there.
Just watch and absorb it, and it's the same when, I'm not active too.
The WNBA was stunned by Caitlin Clark's injury update, which was not what the league wanted to hear.
We'll see. But it could be a possibility, but I could also not be available for that game too. I think just having good perspective is the best way to approach it. Like, yeah, you can be frustrated and whatnot, but, I think the medical team has done a really good job of,
One woman is the lifeblood of this entire organization, and they have pushed her to the point where she can no longer play or save their empty stadiums. It's all in the horror.
Yeah, I'll be reevaluated this weekend, so I'll miss this weekend's game. But after that, it's, day by day and see how I feel and just kind of turn to the medical staff and what they think.
When Caitlin Clark finally spoke up, we were shocked to learn that she wouldn't be coming back early. Did we really expect her to play in the WNBA, where she is essentially beaten up every night like she's in a street fight, and then we're all supposed to be shocked that she isn't coming back right away?
I think the medical team has done a really good job of, doing my rehab every single day, staying in a routine, coming in, getting shots up. But more than anything, I think just focusing on being a really good teammate, being there for my teammates, being a voice for them.
On May 25th, during a pivotal match against the reigning champion New York Liberty, Clark collapsed while holding her left quad. That is your main attraction and the team's most important player face. Additionally, it appears that the league didn't consider it a serious issue.
We've been told so far by the team is that this is actually an injury that was separate from the quad tightness issue, as Caitlin Clark described it earlier in the preseason, that she dealt with before. So it's a little bit of interesting situation given that it was the same leg.
On Memorial Day, the fever finally made it clear that she would be out for at least 2 weeks. Suddenly, the league started to disintegrate as if Scotch tape were holding it together. Clark herself said that she will miss the game this weekend, and that it would depend on her mood. Therefore, don't hold your breath since she isn't jeopardizing her career, so the league can keep using her without taking any action to safeguard her.
Now, Caitlin was asked when she's expected to come back. She told us she would be reevaluated after the weekend. After that, it would be day by day. The Fever are on the road for 2 road games before coming back to Gainbridge Fieldhouse next Saturday.
June 9th is the date of the reevaluation. And let's be honest, no one anticipates her making a comeback akin to that of a Marvel film. She is a human, not a marketing machine, and it is clear that this injury has exceeded her tolerance. However, while she is away, what is Caitlin doing? I guess the supporters are upset because the league is blaming gravity. The Chicago Sky game on June 7th was expected to be a huge success, and it was. But ticket prices plummeted. At Benizzo's, a hat costs between $80 and $14. That's a full-fledged fire sale, not simply a drop. In fact, travelers canceled their plans, received their money returned, and hotels claimed the petrol money wasn't worth it. Since the league's true star is sidelined due to a fractured quad, I honestly don't blame them for spending top bucks to see Angel Reese run about looking like she's in a Gatorade commercial.
Caitlin telling us she's been a connector between her coaches and teammates. They've gone 1-2 without her, and they'll be without her again this weekend.
When social media hashtags like DS Protect Our Players and Boycott WNBA became popular, the internet was finally making sense. Why support a league that can't protect its brightest star? Fans are done being quiet, they're angry, and they have receipts, was one tweet that garnered thousands of retweets.
So I think that's just kind of been the time for me to really find some patience, and I've never been a patient person my entire life. So this has definitely tested me a little bit, but I think it's going to be really good for me. And like I said, I've just tried to approach it in the best way I possibly can. I can't change it. And
the average cost of a Fever ticket fell from $137 to $80. This is not a marketing issue. Instead, it's a league-wide meltdown that happens when the person representing your entire brand breaks down, and everyone says, "Oh, wait. Just vibrations, no backup plan."
The girl is spectacular. It's not like she's not a scrub. She's not only can play, she's a star caliber player who draws this attention.
Instead of holding her accountable for some of her heinous crimes, the league essentially gave her a pat on the shoulder, saying things like, "Nice job nearly beheading someone." This is a sticker. Why are we here? The WNBA's evaluation procedure is so defective that it could as well be controlled by magic 8 balls. WNBA garbage. Between Reese's staged drama and Carrington's reckless attacks, let's not even talk about the WWE cosplay that occurs in these games. While the league watches from the sidelines and tweets inspirational quotes, professional basketball players seem to be falling like dominoes in what looks to be a staged smackdown.
WNBA's trash.
Let's call it what it is. Caitlin Clark is no longer with us. It exposes the WNBA. The excitement has subsided. The tickets cost less than a Happy Meal, yet the seats are empty. Without Caitlin, Angel Ree is effectively yelling into thin air while continuing to behave as though she is involved in a celebrity competition. Additionally, Carrington is out there thinking that people's heads are basketballs.
When a player is injured, if the other team knows that a player is injured, they will go at that player.
Let's not sugarcoat everything. It is the league's responsibility, not Clark's, to correct this irresponsibility. But in the current situation, the WNBA is simply defending its own denial. When Caitlin Clark left the floor, the fans lost interest, and it appeared like the WNBA's entire revenue model fell apart. Even the popcorn vendors seemed uninterested, and the stadia started to echo like abandoned warehouses.
Just focusing on being a really good teammate, being there for my teammates, being a voice for them, because that's what I am when I'm playing. So you got to still be that consistent voice when I'm sitting on the bench. So I try to do that as much as I can for them. And just try to be there for them, I think, has been my focus.
During her absence, the Indiana Fever suffered a 1-2 loss. And it wasn't some amazing coaching insight that led to that one victory. Instead, it was because of Ari McDonald, a player on a hardship contract who showed there without practicing and carried the team as though she had been there the entire season.
Everything that you guys told us during the offseason about playing quick, playing with pace, pushing the ball up the court, everyone run, they weren't doing that, especially in the last 2.
And trust me when I say that social media took off following Clark's injury. Enraged fans wanted to set the house on fire. They demanded actual protection protocols, more stringent officiating, and a complete revamp of celebrity marketing. You would think that the league would move more urgently after losing your most valuable asset due to negligent contact, but no. Let's hope no one asks questions seemed to be the WNBA's official stance.
But for the Fever, one thing to keep in mind is that this is a sort of situation where the next 2 weeks, luckily for them, the schedule is a little bit playing the Chicago Sky, the Connecticut Sun, who haven't won yet. So they are trying to hold down the fort for now, while Caitlin Clark will be out.
Even Chicago Sky fans, who were probably ecstatic about Reese's much-anticipated rematch, publicly announced that they were returning their tickets. If Clark isn't playing, it's not worth it, one fan even said. When you obtain a ticket to see your own team and decide it's not worth going because the other team's star isn't playing, it's known as the Clark effect, and it's a problem for the WNBA as well.
A lot of you were commenting that she was sick. You could hear it in her voice that she was sick. It seems like at this point, this is the reason why we haven't seen Caitlin at 100%. We haven't seen her as quick as we saw her last season.
Let's be honest, the claim that this league is garbage without Clark wasn't made overnight. The league's public relations team had completely vanished, and many were furious over missed calls and dirty plays. The WNBA seems to have muted itself. It was necessary to have the second accountability.
Covers up a lot of stuff when you're in the heat of battle. And after the game, I had some pain and then, got an MRI, and that kind of gave me the result that I didn't want to see. But, those type of things don't lie. So, yeah.
Pundits were criticizing fans who were circulating videos of body slams used as justification. It was chaos. The WNBA has too many games that rely on too few players, which exacerbates the situation. Where is Sabrina Ionescu's enthusiasm? And where is A.A. Wilson's support? Even Angel Reese's performance-related antics may have been suitably raised if the league had known how to create narratives around several characters at once. Rather, we have a league that is presently on a precipice with no end in sight.
Think that it's going to be longer than 2 weeks. With them saying a minimum of 2 weeks, I feel like that's kind of just giving us breadcrumbs, just giving us enough information. And I actually don't think that they're going to give more for the sake of Caitlin.
This is the pivotal point in the WNBA's history if you're searching for one. Everything fell apart when Caitlin left, including earnings, involvement, and enthusiasm. Fans are now calling for responses. Rather than expressing kind sentiments, people are demanding reform and questioning why the NBA has biometric technology, specialized trainers, and load management while the WNBA employs YouTube videos and crossed fingers.
We haven't seen her as quick as we saw her last season. If you have something going on in your legs, like your legs are actually a huge part of your shooting mechanics, something was thrown off. So if that part of her body was thrown off, it probably threw off the entire mechanics.
The prerequisites are clear. Put an end to letting players get decked. Invest in player safety and begin marketing with many persons. Someone needs to teach these teams how to stop shooters from being cross-lined in midair every other night without a flagrant call. Nobody desires a rash return. In all honesty, Caitlin shouldn't even consider it until the league demonstrates its ability to safeguard her. She is no longer merely the participant. She is the ecosystem as a whole, the brand, the face, the attraction, and the source of revenue. However, while the league just shrugs, she is the one lying immobile on the court. Even though Clark is sitting on the bench, people are finally paying attention because her silence is louder than any buzzer in the building. The WNBA needs to grow up immediately or watch its golden goose disappear and never come back.